and welcome back to AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris. Joining me today from the beautiful Gold Coast in Australia is Dr. Troy Neilson. Troy has been given the honour of just coming on board as the Chief Technology Officer for the brand new Kangaroo large language model. And we're going to be talking all about that model. Hey, Troy, welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here, and we're talking about a really exciting topic, and I have to, disclose I'm on the advisory board for it, but Kangaroo LLM. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I think we're really happy to have you on board, so thanks as well. Look, Kangaroo LLM is a really interesting project. It's Australia's first context-specific LLM. So when I say context-specific, I'm talking about Australian language, Australian content. So, very, very important for Australian culture. The other side of it that I think is just as compelling is the fact that it's built out of a not-for-profit foundation. And we're going to be open sourcing as much of what we can throughout this sort of process. So the data, potentially the weights and the model itself. So we want to make sure that we provide as much transparency across the process and give access to students, researchers, corporates, whoever needs it to build these sort of models across Australia.
Fantastic. And there are so many unique things in the Australian vernacular and all of that sort of stuff. And I'll be interested to see how the model handles people saying things like, yeah, nah, yeah. Those things that are uniquely Australian. Do you think there'll be other challenges in building the model?
Yeah, so I think primarily a big focus of mine is ethics and transparency. So I think the first hurdle or the first roadblock is providing comfort to the broader community that we're taking the right approach. We're doing this the right way. We're being transparent and ethical. I think that's one of the biggest challenges. In terms of like technical challenges, one of the I think the rate limiting factors that we might have to contend with is just the amount of data. So like you think about a broader model, ChatGPT or something like that gets trained on a corpus of data sourced from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
That opens up a lot more doors. But when you start tightening up, providing those culturally contextual sort of restrictions, it does sort of wind things back a little bit and sort of tighten things up. But with that being said, if we can manage for that challenge, we've then built a really, really interesting model that is uniquely Australian. And I think that's the big stretch goal here.
I can't wait. Every time I use ChatGPT, I say, do that in an Australian tone of voice that starts with "G'day, mate."
Or asking ChatGPT to just use Australian spelling, right? Like I think there's a lot of interesting sort of elements there that we sort of take for granted as Australians, and I think it'd be nice to have a model that sort of reflected those core values and beliefs as well.
And Australia's a very multicultural, besides the truly the, traditional custodians, the Indigenous people of the lands, all of the other, we're a melting pot. How do you see that playing out?
Well, I think it's really important. I think, like a lot of other places in the world, we're culturally diverse. The US and that sort of stuff are very culturally diverse as well. But I think with that, we get pockets of culture that are different than other. The sort of the percentage breakdown of different cultures here in Australia is different to those we find around the world.
Mm.
And so for us, we'll be able to have a model that's more focused on the groups, the minority groups and whatnot that are here and Australian. I think that's really important as well. And you touched on the Indigenous side of things as well. That's something that's very, very underrepresented in the broader models that we see out in the commercial space at the moment. So for us to be able to be more mindful of some of those considerations as well can be really important in the way we bring this to bear as well.
Yeah, wow. And I know that there's a stage where we're looking to scrape Australian websites to get the base foundation, and that's almost about to start. But then there's a crowdsourced part of it, right? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so the challenge with any LLM isn't so much gathering up data, but it's more curating that data and cleaning it all up. And again, that's a laborious task. We need help. So we're looking to go out to the community and seek help and guidance from those who are in the space that have a lot of experience and look to help us with that sort of process. I think on that too, just touching on the scraping really quickly, that's another part that we're really proud of. Is the approach that we're taking to that. So we're being very transparent about the
Mm.
sites we're going to, the way we're going to be accessing those sites, being very respectful of the robot.txt files, and making sure that throughout this process there's that constant message of good governance and transparency.
Yeah, spectacular. You're right in the driver's seat for this one. Look, thank you for that. I love to ask everyone the same question. I'm going to throw it at you. What's your best tip for someone who's just starting their AI journey? So somebody maybe that doesn't even know what a large language model is. What's your best tip for someone just starting out?
If you're in, if you want to use them, just get in and use them. I think that's the thing. If you want to develop them, I think it still always stems back to the fundamentals, right? So understanding code is really important. I think these days the ability to write code isn't as important as it once was. You
Yeah.
can use these models for that, but having an understanding of the fundamentals is really cornerstone if you need to unpick some of the challenges that come through those environments where you don't always get the output that you want. So for me, I think it's focusing on the fundamentals.
Wonderful. Look, thanks for being on AI and 5, Troy. I know we're going to be talking again.
Yeah, no worries, Simon. Thanks for having me, mate. Appreciate it.